Good morning, myself Dr. Pawan Bhambhu. Today's topic function. Function. Function is a small program that performs a given task and returns the result to the main function that has called it. Types of functions. There are two types of function, predefined function and user defined function. Predefined functions are those functions that are defined by the compiler and they are present in header file. For example, printf and scanf. Printf is used to give output to the user as well as scanf is used to take input from the user. User defined functions are those functions that a user defines depending on its need. For example, for adding two numbers we will be defining add function and its return type is void. Next, general syntax of function means general syntax shows the workflow of a function. To demonstrate the workflow of a function, the function is having three parts. First, declaration of function, second, calling of function, and third, definition of function. We will see in the example. Initially in the include section we have included the header files, then after that there is a declaration section of a function. Declaration section of function declares that I am taking a function with a name max which return type is integer and it is taking two parameters, integer num1 and num2. Next, in the main section we are declaring two variables, initializing, and then finally we are calling the max function in main function with two parameters a and b. Further, in the definition section of the function we can see that there is the logic given how to calculate the maximum value from the two values that are received from the main function. If number 1 is greater than number 2, greater is number 1 and it is returned to the main function. Else the greatest number is number 2 and it is returned to the main function. Types of functions. Depending on the parameter that the function is receiving and the return type of the function, the functions can be categorized in four categories. Category first, in which the function is taking two inputs, ing, adding and returning the value, means its return type is integer. Type second, in which again the function is taking two parameters, adding and printing, it is not returning any value, so its return type is void. Third type, the function is taking no parameters, means it is declaring two variables, initializing, adding and returning the value, means it is having a return type integer. Then type 4, the function is not taking any parameters and not returning any value, means it is declaring two variables, initializing, adding and printing. Next, type of function calls. Type of function calls means how we can call a function. If we are calling a function by passing just a value of a variable, then it is called by value. If we are calling a function by passing the address of a variable, then it is called by address or called by pointer. Let us see in the example, call by value. Again, the include section, then we are declaring a function calc that is receiving a parameter, a single parameter of type integer x. In the main function we are taking a variable x whose value is 10. Again we are calling the function and we are passing x. Simple x means we are passing the value. After passing the value we can come to the definition section of the function, in which we can see that x is changed from x to x plus 10, means the value is changed, it become 20 and it will be printed 20 in calc function, but the effect will not be highlighted in main function. In main function the value of x will be printed 10 only, because the value is passed, not the address is passed. But in call by pointers, we can see after include section we are declaring a function, and we are saying that Kelsey is receiving a parameter integer asterisk p, means a pointer of integer type, means it will be storing address of integer variable. In main function we can see again integer x having its 10 value declared and initialized, then function is called. This time we can see that the x is passed with the address sign, means the address of x is passed in the Kelsey function. We can see in the Kelsey definition of Kelsey function that the pointer is manipulating the value of x. How? Asterisk p equal asterisk p plus 10. Asterisk p means value at address p. P has the address of x, and address of x is having the value 10. So 10 plus 10, 20 should be stored in the address of x, means the value is changed in Kelsey function also, as well as it changed in main function also. Hence call by pointers reflects the change in main function also. Next, recursion. Recursion is a process of calling a function again and again until the result is obtained. For example, we are taking a program that is calculating a factorial. We will be taking an example n variable whose value is 5, and 5, if we calculate a factorial of 5, it will be 120. Means recursion will carry on until the result of 5 factorial is reached to 120. We can see how it is. Again the include section, then declaration section where we have declared a factorial function taking a single parameter of type integer, return type is integer. In main function we can see variables are declared n and f. We are taking input from the user. Suppose the input is 5. We are checking if number is not negative. If it is negative, we are saying that the negative number factorial is not defined. Otherwise we are calling the function factorial with the number n. Suppose its value is 5. Let us come in the definition section of the function factorial. Here we are saying that if n equals to 0, return 1. This is the base condition. When the base condition is reached, the recursion stops. Otherwise return n into factorial n minus 1. This factorial n minus 1 is calling of function itself again and again. This is recursion with different parameters. Initially it is called with parameter 5. Now it will be called with 5 minus 1, 4. Likewise again 3, then 2, then 1, and then finally the result 5 into 4 into 3, 2 into 1, 120 result will be returned to the main function, and the recursion is over. Finally, the exercise section, we are having couple of questions. Some of we will get the answers in the presentation, and rest is in the assignment sheet. Thank you.